All right, everybody, Big Cop Diesel coming back at you. And just in case you haven't noticed, I'm wearing the same shirt. That's because I've made all these videos in one night. That's a YouTube creator trick that I learned. I guess I could change my shirt a couple of times to, I don't know, make you think that I'm doing this every day, but that's stupid. So anyways, this video is just meant to kind of fill in the blanks and kind of expand on a couple things that weren't expanded on in the other videos. But overall, the PA 330 program that I went through was at, and if I didn't mention this, was at Schoolcraft College, right? And the program there is the Wayne County Regional Police Training Center is the name of their police academy. So while we were there, you did have police cadets that were there, and at one point there were fire cadets there as well. So you got these kids, their uniforms are pressed and they're squaring their corners and stuff, and here we are, a bunch of people from a bunch of different agencies, and most of us are older, wearing civilian clothes, and so it was a nice little mix. And then when I saw those kids doing that stuff, it reminded me of when I went to the Corrections Academy years ago. You had to square your corners and do all that stuff. So but it's laid back in that they don't treat you like a cadet. You're not, because you're not really a cadet, right? You're just going through this mini, I call it a mini police academy. The crew that was there did a good job. They're all either current police officers who are part-time coming over to help teach, or retired law enforcement people. Sorry about that, guys. But they get it. They looked at us and saw, okay, we're not snot-nosed cadets, so they didn't treat us that way. I really liked it because it was like, hey, if you got your firearms, just make sure you lock them in the box out there. Put your lunch over here. That kind of stuff. I mean, it was a really good experience. My classmates and I all put in together to get a nice plaque for the head instructor over there to thank him, and really him and all his crew for the exceptional job they did with us. I really felt like I got a great value out of the training. It was definitely worth it. There was one guy out of all of it, and there was over 20 of us there, maybe even 30. There was a guy there that put himself through the training. And I know he felt like he got his money worth out of the deal. And then I think he did end up going to one of the hospitals or something. He was kind of in transition. So he wanted to get that training out of the way to make himself more marketable, which is good, because whoever hired him was like, hey, cool, we don't have to pay to put this guy through the training. So yeah, so if you are applying for jobs that say in the job description that's PA 330, usually it'll say something like PA 330, or be willing to go through PA 330. So just make sure that the job that you're applying for, if this is the route that you want to go, says that. Now, a lot of your PA 330 jobs are armed. However, I did notice that some of the hospitals are switching. They're going to less lethal. So even though it says PA 330 and it says armed, make sure you read the description, because some of them are specifying armed means carrying a taser, right? And if you don't have a preference, cool. I mean, either way, this looks really good on a resume. Me personally, I can't see myself ever working in an unarmed position. I'm kind of the thought process, and I have worked unarmed security before years ago. But I'm of the mindset that in our day and age, with all that's going on, the turmoil, the riots, the COVID and all that stuff, and the police, this whole defund the police. So I just feel like it's not really a smart idea to be unarmed. I actually got to meet former Detroit PD Chief Craig. I was at a charity shooting event where I was acting as a range officer, and Chief Craig came in and thanked us, and he made a good point. Something that I didn't think about was that with police officers leaving the force, because it's like, I'm not putting up with this shit anymore, the defund the police thing that's going on, as a firearms instructor, he thanked us because he said, you are helping the community by teaching people, how to be responsible and safe gun owners. So, but with the climate out there, with those of you that are from Detroit or Michigan may have seen the footage on TV in Greektown a couple months ago. There was a big melee, and the police were trying to maintain order, and people were just pushing this group. I mean, these cops literally had their backs up against the wall, and I've just never seen anything like that. I mean, I've been around for a while, and I've just never seen anything like that. So that leads me into talking about security as a whole. Security is a very important job. We're filling the gap, right? We don't enforce laws. That's not our job. This is for some of you guys that think that because you're a security officer that you're a police officer. Don't get it twisted. We are not police officers, and I wouldn't be a police officer. I mean, not in this day and age. If you're already doing it, you're already in, so you might as well finish out your 20 or whatever. But me personally, to try to get into it now, I just don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. First of all, money. I make more in the security job I do now than a Detroit police officer walking in the door. Now, they might pass me up after a couple of years, but that's just my take. There's nothing against being, I mean, I was a corrections officer, so I have nothing against police officers, but in this day and age, it's really, really risky out there. But security is important work. It's needed, as those of you who are already in the field know, that when COVID hit, we quickly found out who was essential and who wasn't, And as a security guard, I actually transitioned into management. At the time, I never missed a day. In fact, I worked more, as those of you who work security probably did as well. We didn't get to go home and collect stimulus checks and unemployment and all that. We worked. So there's definitely a need out there. And having said that, if we can be more professional, right? I walk around and drive around the city, and I swear there's probably more security guards in Detroit than there are police officers. I mean, I can't go anywhere without seeing a security guard somewhere. If we can maintain a level of professionalism, that will raise our perception, not only in the public's eyes, but in law enforcement's eyes, right? We're not the same. Law enforcement has a different job. Their job is to enforce the law of the land. Our job is to protect property and protect life and property that's on the property. That's it. We don't enforce laws. But when you roll up on a site and you see a security guard with their shirt untucked, or they're wearing blue jeans with their uniform shirt, or they got on these big headphones and they've got their face in their phone, and people just look at that and just shake their head, and that's why we get the bad rap. And then when you do see a security officer who has a nice tight uniform, not tight, but the uniform is good to go, pressed, badge is shiny, shirt is tucked in, boots are shined, then you're a wannabe, right? And so, we get it from both ends, but try to maintain your professionalism, do your job, do your job well, learn your job, and no more, no less. Nobody's expecting anybody to be a hero. If there's a situation that arises that allows you to be a hero, where you save somebody's life, or you pull somebody out of a burning car, that's great. That's great. Do that. But let's try to be more professional. I think if we can do that, we will definitely raise our perception in the public eye. And the other part of that is money, right? We're not in it for the money. We're not in it for the money. But maybe if we can come together and demand more of ourselves, maybe at some point we'll be able to demand more money. And I said this, and I'm sure all of you think the same thing, that during the pandemic, I didn't get any hazard pay. I didn't get any extra money for going to work. I just went to work. But as a whole, the security industry is saturated, and that's a whole nother video. It's saturated, so prices tend to be low, pay tends to be low. These companies are cutting each other's throat to underbid. But again, that's a whole nother video. But in the meantime, let's do our part. Let's show up to work on time. Let's be professional in both our appearance and our actions, so that when the time comes and we argue for more money, we have a leg to stand on. Hey, until next time, guys, you stay safe. And that's the end of my videos on PA330. Please, if you have any comments or suggestions, please drop those below. Don't forget to like and share. And I will be putting out more videos on other stuff. Everything security and a little fitness. All right, guys, you stay safe out there.